Daily Guide, the story about cars captured on page 3. It says that more names of people who acquired state vehicles in the Mahama-led NDC administration are popping up. We're told by the paper that about 250 people, mostly ministers of state appointees, chiefs, journalists, and secretaries, were said to have grabbed some of these state vehicles after the assets were privately auctioned for peanuts without any public participation. Now, we're told by the paper that the incident is generating heated political debate, with some suggesting cynically that the NPP government should take steps to push for the repeal of a law that allows politicians to acquire state properties, including vehicles. Now, the story goes on and says that Daily Guide currently has a list of all NDC bigwigs who benefited from the auction, and the document explains how some of the vehicles, which were barely 2 years old, were sold in clear breach of the law. We'll tell you more about that law later on, but let's start the conversation this morning. Dr. Jinapo, now, this issue has come up once again, but we can quickly refer to an issue that happened in 2015, where the then Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, in a letter sent to the Secretary, the President, the Flagstaff House, the Vice President, all Chief Directors and all Regional Coordinating Directors and Heads of Departments and Agencies, including Regional Ministers, asked that this scheme be stopped, and yet the Daily Guide is insisting that it has a list of government functionaries who have purchased such vehicles. A breach of the law?
Well, let me say good morning to you, cherished viewers. I think if you look at the Daily Guide story, it says how NDC gurus grab, in quotes, free cars.
Right.
So when you put something in quotes, it means that there's more to it, and it's not the simple free that we understand to be.
The story says they paid peanuts for it.
They paid peanuts. I mean, what is peanuts? I think there are 2 or 3 ways that this issue can be looked at. And it's important to note that this particular policy is not limited to government appointees. In fact, it happens at public sector institutions, universities, government agencies and stuff like that, where people who occupy positions leave office with their saloon cars. And when they leave, the point is that it's not as if they are going free with the vehicles, they pay for it. So, as a country, we should sit down and look at it. One, the cost that the state, that it accrues to the state. For instance, if you go and buy, by virtue of occupying a position, you go and buy a Mercedes-Benz, an E-Class, the Benz is just a year or 2 years or too old. Because if you look at the vehicles, the years of manufacture and stuff like that, some of them are 2015, and you're allowed to take it home at a discounted rate. That becomes something that we as a people will have to look at in terms of the cost. Number 2, who does the pricing? Is the pricing done by, what do they call it, a neutral agency? Or the pricing is done by, quote-unquote, people who themselves are going to buy the vehicle? You understand? The third aspect is that the former president did issue a fiat where he said this whole thing must be stopped.
Right.
And it was violated. The question that needs to be asked is, when the president makes a statement, is it a law? Do we have a law that exists relative to this particular means of acquisition of what vehicles? And what did we do in terms of trying to deal with it? So, yes, it's a political issue. It's a political issue in the sense that it goes down to the issue of morality, where you've been in power and because you are leaving office, you purchase a vehicle that belongs to the state. I think this provides us an opportunity to take a decision as to whether we want to continue with it or not. And if we do not take that decision, I can tell you for a fact that the time that NPP will leave in office, this same thing is going to come up. Because if you remember, in 2009, certain NPP members and officers were chased because they were deemed to have taken state vehicles. If you ask me, I don't subscribe to people leaving office with state vehicles. I don't. In the sense that if you are a minister, there are 2 things. You are a minister because you are there to serve. Number 2, you are given all the remuneration that accompanies the office that you occupy. So if it is the case that you are leaving office and a vehicle is just 1 year old or 2 years, and you know the interesting thing is that most of these people, when they buy the vehicle, very, very careful the way they use the vehicle because they want to take it home. You understand? And if you read a story, if the story is something to go by, what we are being told is that it's not only ministers who took those vehicles, chiefs and other people who technically should not benefit from it. So I think this provides us an opportunity as a state, and I would want to hear it from the current administration, what is stance when it comes to this particular policy. If you ask me, I think it should be scrapped because it is being abused.
Yes, it is being abused. I agree with you 110%. Completely. Completely. This is YK on behalf of Cpag. I agree with you, Dr. Jinapo. I think your name rings a bell, and there's some similarity there. You look like John Jinapo. Maybe you are the big brother or you are related, but you're talking sense, Minya. As a man, this policy is being abused and it must be scrapped. And I'm also looking forward to hear what the new government under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo makes of this policy. I'm very sure he doesn't agree to it. I can feel it. And we want to hear something from this government because it's too much going on that is not right so far as this policy is concerned. And I couldn't have said it any better than the way Dr. Jinapo said it, elaborated it nicely. It's something that has been there and it's been abused. It must be scrapped. It's a drain on public coffers. It must be scrapped. When people occupy positions of influence in the public service, it is public service. If you, by virtue of your position, acquire a vehicle of your taste to use, and you don't really use it that much, they use all the 4x4s and do all sorts of things and keep these nice vehicles in their homes. Government vehicle, they park it in their home. I'm talking from experience because I know people who are doing that. They park the vehicle, they virtually use that vehicle because they know they are going to buy it very cheap when they are leaving office and when they are leaving the positions they are occupying. So we must scrap this kind of policy. It must be scrapped. If anything at all, a new kind of law needs to be in place, not just a policy, a law that government acquired vehicles must be used for maybe 3 to 5 years, depending on the state that the vehicle is, and if the vehicle or the mileage that the vehicle has clocked. And if the vehicle must be auctioned, it must be auctioned to the public. We need a new department or a section of um, an agency under the Ministry of Transport or whatever to do this, to handle this properly, so that this auction is done to the public. Anybody at all can go and bid and buy for it and purchase it. Nti, me nuanom, yɛmfa yɛn nyinaa yɛmfa yɛn ano ntom. Adeɛ bi kɔ so na ɛnyɛ wɔyɛ man no mu a, obiara, you and I, we don't need to be spectators, we need to be citizens. Let's talk about it. Let's create the awareness that it's not right. Civil society, you've got so much power you don't even know it. You need to talk. What is not right is not right. What must be stopped must be stopped. We are all protectors of the public purse. What is not right, what eats into our public finances, we need to talk about it, we need to condemn it, and we need to make sure that we send the right message to the political leadership of our country to act accordingly and decisively to weed out any kind of practices that encourages corruption and that encourages abuse of power. This policy must be scrapped. God bless our home.